She said, "You had sex with me without my permission. Pay me $100,000 or I'll ruin you." So I sent her the recordings. Now she's the one begging me not to go to the police. We met at a local photography meetup in Austin. She was outgoing, funny, and stunning. Someone who could walk into a room and have everyone's attention without even trying. I was quieter, more behind the scenes, but she said she liked that about me. Said I made her feel grounded. We started dating soon after. At first, it felt real. We connected over late-night drives, random taco runs, and binging documentaries neither of us fully understood. She'd tell me how her ex was manipulative and cold, how she wanted someone stable. I guess that word flattered me more than it should have. Within 3 months, she started struggling financially. At least that's what she said. Rent was late. Her car needed work. She wasn't getting enough photography gigs. So I started helping. I paid her phone bill, then her rent. I told myself it wasn't a big deal. Couples help each other, right? By month 5, she had moved in with me. I didn't ask her to. It just slowly happened. A bag here, a drawer there. One morning I woke up and realized her stuff had basically replaced mine. But I didn't complain. I was just happy to come home to someone. She started having rough days. Said she was mentally exhausted and needed to reset. So I paid for her to take a 5-day trip to Sedona. Told her to relax, breathe, and come back feeling better. I didn't go with her. She said she needed space. I really believed she loved me. I believed the stress was real, that life was weighing on her. I even bought her a new lens for her camera as a welcome home gift. But when she got back, something had changed. She barely talked to me. Spent hours scrolling, disappearing without saying where she was going. She kept her phone upside down. I asked if everything was okay. She said I was too clingy. When I suggested we spend some time together, she said she wasn't in the mood. Then, out of nowhere, it all spiraled. One night, after coming home late and brushing me off again, she sat me down and said she felt used, that I'd been manipulating her, controlling her, that I was emotionally abusive. And then she dropped the bomb. She claimed I had sex with her without her permission, that I pressured her on a night we were both drinking and she wasn't in a clear state of mind. She said if I didn't give her +plus $100,000, she'd go to the police and file charges. I stared at her, trying to process whether this was some sick joke. "You're serious?" I asked. She didn't blink. "I deserve compensation for everything I went through," she said. "And if you don't pay up, you'll be hearing from my lawyer." In that moment, something inside me cracked, not with fear, but with clarity. I realized I had never actually known who this woman was. I didn't say much that night, just nodded, stood up, and told her I needed some air. But I already knew what I had to do. She thought she had cornered me, that I would panic, pay, and stay quiet. She had no idea what I'd been keeping all along. What she didn't know, and what saved me, was that I'd started recording our conversations about 2 months prior. Not because I expected this, but because things had started to feel off. I'd seen one of her texts flash on the screen from a guy labeled Ashley, but the preview clearly wasn't something you send to a female friend. When I asked her about it, she gaslit me into thinking I was paranoid. After that, I installed a basic voice recorder app on my phone and kept it running whenever we had serious conversations, especially when she started throwing out vague accusations during arguments. Something in my gut told me to protect myself. And thank God I did. I spent the entire night after her threat going through old audio clips. I found the one from 2 weeks ago, her literally saying, "You're the only guy who's ever really taken care of me. I'd be lost without you." Then another, where she was laughing on the phone with a friend, bragging about how easy it was to get things from guys if you made them feel like heroes. Her words, not mine. And then, gold. A recording of her asking me to come over late at night, clearly consenting, giggling, calling me babe, and saying how much she missed me. There was absolutely nothing non-consensual about that night. In fact, she initiated the whole thing. I compressed the best segments into one audio file and emailed it to her personal account. Subject line: "For your lawyer." No explanation, just the recordings. 10 minutes later, my phone lit up. Then again. Then again. She called 8 times in the span of 30 minutes. I didn't answer. I waited. Eventually, she left a voicemail. Her voice was shaky. "Hey, I just listened. I didn't mean what I said, okay? I was upset. I didn't think you'd take it that seriously. Please, can we just talk? No apology. No ownership. Just damage control." I waited another hour, then sent a single text. "I took it seriously because I've been serious about you this whole time. Shame you weren't." That triggered another flood of calls. She was panicking now. I finally picked up. She jumped right in. "I didn't mean it like that, okay? I was just angry. I love you. I don't want to lose you." I stayed quiet. She kept going, her voice cracking. "You blindsided me with that recording. You're acting like I'm some monster." I replied calmly. I didn't act like anything. I just let your own words speak. She paused, then tried a new tactic. Okay, I messed up. I got caught up in a moment. Can we please just delete that file and move on? I'll make it up to you. She still thought this was about us. About love. About fixing things. But I wasn't playing that game anymore. I ended the call with one sentence. We'll talk tomorrow. I have a proposal. She said okay. Sounded relieved. She had no idea what was coming next. The next day, around noon, I met her at a quiet coffee shop on the east side of town. Neutral ground. She looked different. No makeup, hoodie up, eyes red like she hadn't slept. I sat down across from her without saying a word. Let her speak first. She leaned in and whispered, "Look, I know I messed up. I don't want any drama. We can just drop everything, okay? Please don't ruin my life over a mistake." I sipped my coffee. Then I said, calmly, "You didn't make a mistake. You made a calculated decision to threaten me with a false charge and blackmail me for $100,000. I didn't ruin your life. You tried to ruin mine." She looked down, started shaking her leg. "I didn't mean for it to go that far. I just needed money. I was desperate." I leaned forward. "You know what's funny? You thought I'd be the one begging, that I'd be scared. But now you're the one sitting here asking for mercy. And the best part? I didn't have to lie, twist anything, or set you up. You played yourself." She bit her lip and stayed quiet for a while. Then she said the one thing I didn't expect. "So what do you want?" There it was. The shift. I pulled out a small envelope with a single sheet of paper. On it was a typed statement admitting everything. That she lied about the accusations, that she attempted to blackmail me, and that she fabricated her claim. I slid it across the table. "Sign it. Notarized. Today." Her eyes widened. "Are you serious?" "Dead serious. I want your signature and a witness confirmation that you made a false accusation. And then you're going to send me $100,000, the exact amount you tried to extort from me. Call it poetic justice." She looked horrified. "I don't have that kind of money." I shrugged. "Then get a job. Sell your camera. Figure it out. You have 6 months. Or I send everything. To your employer, your parents, your school records office, and the police." She broke down crying right there in the booth. People glanced over, but I didn't care. She sobbed into her hands, repeating, "This is cruel. I really did love you. How can you be so heartless?" I looked at her and said something I had rehearsed 100 times in my head. "You thought love meant giving and taking without limits. But what you really loved was control." I just stopped playing along. She signed the statement. I had a friend at the notary office meet us nearby. She didn't say a word during the drive. 2 months later, the first payment arrived, $8, $500. Then another. Last I checked, she was selling her car online. Not my problem. I never took her to court. I didn't need to. I kept the signed confession, just in case. But honestly, just knowing she wakes up every day wondering if I'll ever use it, that's enough. I didn't want revenge. I wanted peace. And I got it by refusing to be a victim. I'm not proud of the whole thing. I wish I had seen the signs earlier. But I hope sharing this helps someone else avoid being dragged into something like this. What would you have done in my place? Would you have gone further? Or walked away entirely? Let me know. Curious to hear from others who've been blindsided like this.